What's going on, everyone? Welcome back. Today, we've got another live fantasy football mock draft for you back on Yahoo with a 10-team half PPR mock where we will be selecting 10th overall. Should be really interesting. And while we wait for this thing to start up, a quick reminder, if you enjoy, hit that like button, subscribe, give us a follow on Twitter at AllDayPigskin to continue interacting with us there. Let us hear in the comment section, do you agree, disagree, along with any other questions you guys might have. We will do our best to answer them all. But with that being said, let's get into it. The draft is officially underway, and I'm very interested to see what we are going to get here. So the first pick has been made, and it is the one, the only Justin Jefferson of the Minnesota Vikings, followed right behind him by Ja'Marr Chase. So the first two picks are wide receiver, followed by Christian McCaffrey, third overall. Now, again, a quick point. This is half PPR, not full PPR, so doesn't quite weigh as much in terms of the reception value, but still it is important. So you're going to see some pass catchers go here in the first round. I think still getting Christian McCaffrey or an Austin Eckler third, fourth overall is a tremendous, tremendous value. I'm curious to see where somebody like a Cooper Kupp, Saquon Barkley is going to go. And as soon as I say those names, they're the last two selections. Barkley went 8th overall, followed by Cooper Kupp 9th overall. Would have really liked Cooper Kupp to fall to us. Doesn't happen. It's okay. Here, I know what I'm doing. I'm going to go with Tyreek Hill. It's going to be one of our first selections. And because I know if I don't take a wide receiver here, the comment section is going to blow up. You don't know what you're doing. You got to go wide receiver, yada, yada, yada. You can still have a very successful draft here. Trust me, folks, if you go running back. And the two guys, if I did do that, would have been Nick Chubb and Tony Pollard. I'm going to take Nick Chubb here ahead of Tony Pollard. I think that, if this was full PPR, then it would have been a little bit closer. But I'm really excited about Nick Chubb this year without Kareem Hunt there. I really like the upside, and I don't think Nick Chubb maybe has as many durability concerns as a Tony Pollard. We'll see. Also with Tony Pollard, you've got the whole franchise tag situation, so right now just a little bit more question marks, but either way, I think both those guys are going to be absolute studs this year. And let's show you a little bit better view of the draft board so far. I'm going to quickly break down what we have seen up until this point. So the first two picks were Justin Jefferson, Ja'Marr Chase, two wide receivers with the first two picks. I wouldn't be shocked to see Justin Jefferson going first overall, but Justin Jefferson, then Ja'Marr Chase, I think that's too much. I would still be taking Christian McCaffrey first overall or Austin Eckler first overall. That's me personally. But, Justin Jefferson belongs in the top 5. So it's a matter of personal preference. It's going to depend from platform to platform where you're drafting, how their rankings are based. Then Jonathan Taylor, 5th overall. Bijan Robinson, 6th, good value. Travis Kelce, 7th overall, followed by Saquon Barkley. No real issues there so far. I would have drafted Travis Kelce later on. Cooper Kupp, I would have drafted a lot earlier if you were in the camp that you should be taking wide receivers early. I think you can make the case that he definitely finishes ahead of Ja'Marr Chase in really any PPR format, and even challenges Justin Jefferson. Then I took Tyreek Hill. I think, he's kind of that next tier wide receiver. And I decided to go a little bit balanced. So I went wide receiver and running back. I went Tyreek and Nick Chubb. Then in the second round, Josh Jacobs in a slew of the next best wide receivers in Devontae Adams, Stephon Diggs, CeeDee Lamb, and A.J. Brown. Devontae Adams could end up being an absolute steal if Jimmy Garoppolo ends up playing. We'll see. Tony Pollard towards the end of the second round, great value. Like I said, I would have considered taking him with the first pick in the second round. Then Derrick Henry, then Ramondre Stevenson, Garrett Wilson with the last pick in the second round. And then our next two picks are quarterbacks, Jalen Hurts, Patrick Mahomes. Look, again, I get it. This is a smaller league. It's a 10-team league. So getting those positional advantages does matter. But, I mean, folks, I'm not going to spend an early third-round selection or Jalen Hurts or Patrick Mahomes when somebody like a Jalen Waddle is there, when somebody like an Amon-Ra St. Brown is there. So no thank you to that. Right now, I like the situation we're in. Is if I'm going wide receiver, which I probably will, it's going to be Chris Olave. And then running back, I'm trying to see if there's somebody that I really like. There is. So let's just do this. Let's stay true to our big board. I'm going to take Chris Olave as our number 2 wide receiver. Tight end, I don't love Mark Andrews or anything like that, so I'm fine waiting. These other wide receivers, I think we've gotten to the point where it kind of tails off. So I'm going back to the running back position. I think that Joe Mixon should be ranked a lot higher, personally. I also really like Miles Sanders a lot, but I'm going to go with Joe Mixon here and just kind of stay true to my rankings and continue to highlight names and players that should be a lot higher on your draft board. So I think this is the perfect example with Joe Mixon to do just that. So I really like this, start we've had in the first 4 rounds. I think that we've got 2 guys in Tyreek and Nick Chubb that can really anchor the position. And then there's not a lot of drop-off afterwards from Tyreek to Olave and from Chubb to Joe Mixon. So I'm really high on that there. Let's see these last couple of selections here while we were breaking down our picks. After we went Mixon, Mark Andrews, that makes sense. In terms of next best available tight end, he was the guy on the ranking board. Devonta Smith and Keenan Allen, Kenneth Walker, Aaron Jones. TJ Hawkinson goes in the towards the end of the 4th round. Okay, no issues there. DK Metcalf, J.K. Dobbins, Calvin Ridley at the end of the 4th, followed by Cam Akers. So I still think, again, we'll see where Miles Sanders ends up going. We could have what we could have done is take Miles Sanders with our pick in the 4th round and then waited for Joe Mixon to drop to us. But I wanted to make this a little bit more realistic, like I said before. The idea here with these mock drafts, it isn't to, make every single right selection or, to try and build every single time the perfect roster. A lot of times it's to enter the situation and see the opportunity that presents itself, weigh the options, and again, highlight names that we think are just really, really good values, which I think we're doing right now. At this point in time, George Kittle, I think, is a pretty good value, a difference maker at the tight end position. So he's definitely on my board. I think, in fact, probably going to be there. By the way, we barely missed the Miles Sanders, selected 2 picks before us. So we're going to take George Kittle here with one of our picks. And then I'm trying to see if there's any wide receivers that I still really like. DJ Moore, very, very intriguing. I could take a quarterback here. So we've gotten to the point where I think that we can get that difference maker at the quarterback position. I'll go ahead and do that. I'll take a chance on Justin Fields. In terms of rushing upside, just as high as that of Lamar Jackson. I think a little bit less concerns in terms of injuries. So with our last 2 picks, we've gotten difference makers at those positions. And honestly, just kind of looking at it, I don't think the drop-off from, let's say, a Justin Fields and a Joe Burrow or a Justin Herbert, or hell, even like a Josh Allen is all that much, primarily because of what Justin Fields can do with his legs. So I like that situation for us. George Kittle, again, I don't think the difference between George Kittle and a Mark Andrews and a TJ Hawkinson is going to be all too much. The difference is we basically got him 20 picks later. So I'm really excited about that. I think we've done a good job of getting good value, not reaching on players, but also putting together a solid roster, getting those positional advantages in a smaller league size. So, heading into the 7th round, I think we're in a good spot to go ahead and just start picking the best value that's available for us. And speaking of picks, let's see what kind of took place here after our selection of Justin Fields. You see Alexander Mattison, not too shocked there. Huge upside without Dalvin Cook. The biggest question is, will somebody be added to that mix? Then Lamar Jackson, Mike Williams, Dallas Goedert, okay. Kind of that next group of tight ends, Tyler Lockett, Terry McLaurin. There's goes Kyle Pitts. He's in that range with Dallas Goedert. DJ Moore, good value. James Conner, another good value pick. So is Rashad White. Just questionable offenses, but the upside is there. Darren Waller, again, another one of those tight ends. Pacheco, Trevor Lawrence, Brendan Ayuk, Dak Prescott, Dalvin Cook, and Evan Ingram. So right now I'm in a situation where I know who I'm going to take. It's going to be a guy that I really like his upside, that is Marquise Brown without DeAndre Hopkins. I think is a really nice pick for us here. We saw what Marquise Brown did for the Cardinals last year when DeAndre Hopkins wasn't there. Now, sure, Kyler Murray was throwing him the football. Kyler Murray's probably going to start the season injured, but I think he's going to be back sooner rather than later, so I'm willing to take a chance on him. And then next, I'm just going to take another high upside guy in Alvin Kamara. I think we've gotten to the point in the draft where it's you can take a chance on these high upside guys, and even if Kamara is suspended, well, once he comes back, you can argue that he can be a top 12 running back. That's what I'm banking on here. I'm trying to get running back depth, but also high quality running backs. So I think we've done that with our first 3 running back selections so far. Now, unfortunately, there's a couple of auto picks here. So we're in the 8th round. We've gotten a couple defensive selections, but before that, I think it was very, very realistic. And I still think the majority of the drafters are in the room. So I don't think we're going to get too crazy here. We'll probably just make 2 more picks and kind of round this thing out. So far, again, I think our roster is a pretty good one. I'd give it, worst case scenario, a B grade. And then, especially with our last 2 picks, Marquise Brown and Alvin Kamara, if those 2 guys, deliver on what their ceiling is, I think this thing can work itself up to a truly contender type of roster. So I like where we are at. Now let's just, get to the point of highlighting the next names that we want to target. So I'm looking at it. Drake London, potentially another high upside pick. Michael Pittman is intriguing to me. We could do handcuff approach with Jamal Williams for the Saints if Alvin Kamara is suspended. So yeah, there's a lot of ways we can go. I really like Jordan Addison in terms of high upside rookies. So that's something to consider. But we're going to make 2 last picks here and kind of call it a day. Samaje Perine for the Denver Broncos, if Javonte Williams really struggles coming back from that injury, is also really intriguing to me. But I think we can wait for him later on. Here, I'm going to go with Christian Kirk or Michael Pittman, one of the 2. I'll go with Michael Pittman just because I think Calvin Ridley is going to be the number 1 for Christian Kirk. I think Pittman is going to see a decent amount of targets. And then, you know what? Let's just take Christian Kirk as well. I think really good value here for us and continue to build depth. If Marquise Brown struggles, something like that, injuries, etc., Kyler Murray takes longer, I think Christian Kirk is a good value piece. So overall, I like this roster. We added some good value picks, some good bench pieces. But hey, let me know your thoughts. Do you agree, disagree, along with any other questions you guys might have? We will do our best to answer them all. If you enjoyed, hit that like button, subscribe, give us a follow on Twitter at AllDayPigskin to continue interacting with us there. But in the meantime, we'll see you guys in future videos.